Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Jets Media New York Jets live stream free agency frenzy buzz, whatever you want to call it. We've been live all week, and we got a lot of special guests today, including the one and only Matt O'Leary and Greenbean. We got the usual Jack and Ali in the building as well. We got a long stream ahead of us. We got an hour with Greenbean and Matt O'Leary. I think we got to leave for 30 minutes, and then you got Jack and myself for the rest of the hour to answer all your questions. So in this stream, we're going to break down all the latest news about the New York Jets free agency, go over each individual signing, give our thoughts. Is it a good signing? Is it a terrible signing? Is it mediocre? Basically go over Joe Douglas's approach. Is everything he's doing, is it good? Is it bad? There's a lot to get into. So before we hop in, we're going to go around the table and introduce everybody. But I'm assuming anybody watching this stream, you guys better know everybody in this stream, because if you don't, link is in the description to each and every one of these gentlemen's channels. Go subscribe to Greenbean. Go subscribe to Matt O'Leary. Go subscribe to Ali's YouTube channel, and go subscribe to Jack McGalley's channel. With that being said, Greenbean, how you doing tonight, my man?
Oh, man, I'm in such a good mood. Me, personally, I am loving the free agency, and we'll dig more into that, but I'm in a great mood. Can't wait to get into it.
Yes, sir. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, too. I think some of Jets Twitter is overreacting to the lack thereof of moves, but overall, I'm moderately satisfied. I think it's been a decent free agency so far for Joe Douglas, and a welcome change from spending money out the ass.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into the deep, gritty stuff of the free agency. How about you, Jack? How you doing today?
What's going on, guys? I'm chilling. I'm happy with where we're at, and I'm trying to keep my faith in Joe Douglas. I know the responsibility he's been given is immense. So, yeah, just trying to keep a cool head, and I've been looking forward to this all day. So let's do it.
Don't worry, Jack. I'll take my logo off your face. There we go. Ali, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man. I was about to skip this live stream, but then Richie told me that Matt and Greenbean were going to be on. I'm just like, I can't miss this. I got to be here at least for half an hour. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we got a lot to get into. And again, if you guys are not subscribed to all four of these lads, that is down below in the description. And if you guys are just joining the live stream, make sure you thumbs it up if you guys are enjoying. So first off, we're going to just talk about the overall approach of Joe Douglas and how he is going about his business. I just uploaded a video here on Jets Media an hour ago of my recap of all 9 players that Jets have signed to this moment. I'm expecting more signings to come in the next couple of days, but nothing too big because there's not that much cap space remaining. So they signed 9 players, including Jarrad Davis for a 1-year deal, $7 million. Corey Davis, 3-year deal, $37.5 million. Carl Lawson, edge pressure, 3 years, $45 million with $30 million in guaranteed money. And we also got Justin Hardy, special teams ace, Keelan Cole, wide receiver, Dan Feeney. He's going to be our guard and center backup. LaMarcus Joyner, safety. Tyler Croft, tight end. Sheldon Rankins, defensive tackle. So those are our 9 new players. Those are a lot, right? So Greenbean, I want you to break down your thoughts on the Joe Douglas's approach to free agency and how he's really, what type of players he's trying to bring in. And now that we got a good understanding of the 9 guys he brought in, so basically just give us your thoughts.
Yeah, well, first thing I'll say is, we all would have danced for joy if Joe Thuney came, if Allen Robinson, we made a little trade or whatever. It's all fun to have the big names come over, and I feel the same thing as anybody else. But what I'm really liking is the fact that we have tried this spend all our money on the big names for 30 years. Since the first free agency ever, we came away with Boomer Esiason, Ronnie Lott, Leonard Marshall, all those guys, and it went right to the toilet. It has never worked for us except for 2009 and 2010, which is when we had a very secure foundation. And that's what I like to see Joe Douglas doing. The guys I think he brought in are foundational. Carl Lawson, I could not like more. It's funny, Matt and I were actually on a live stream when they were talking about bringing in Hendrickson, and we both said, he's a great, that's fine, but we would prefer Lawson, and then it happened. So the guys like Jarrad Davis, I just look at their time here. The guy was a first-round pick. I liked him coming out. He had 2 really solid his first 2 years were really solid. Then Matt Patricia comes in, overturns the apple cart, and everybody's career goes in the toilet, and he was one of them. I think he's the perfect player to give to Robert Saleh. I think, like I said, Carl Lawson's great. the idea of giving a wide receiver 18 million like the Giants just did with Galladay or so, I knew that was highly unlikely, and I love the guy that we did get. Again, first round pick, took a minute to get it, together, put up basically 1,000 yards last year on a run first team. I think he's the perfect complement to Mims on the outside. We're going to love this duo. And guys like Keelan Cole, you just watch, like, it's not to say I was all on top of Keelan Cole before we got him. I knew who he was, but I didn't really watch him. Watching all the tape and stuff and seeing what this guy is able to do, it's exciting to have him as our number 3 coming in, as opposed to guys like David Clowney or Stevie Anderson, all these guys that come in and the drop-off is so significant that you don't even know if you're playing football anymore. Keelan Cole is a step up from all those guys. I mean, the guy put up 600 yards on arguably a worse quarterback situation than we had last year. So I think these signings are fantastic. They're moves that need to be made. Tyler Kroft, Hardy, all those guys, they're moves that need to be made at some point. You have to get this level secure, and I couldn't be happier about it. I would have liked Joe Thuney. I'm not going to go back on that, but I can understand why he went to the Chiefs, the Brad Pitt versus Dayton me. I get it. So go enjoy Brad Pitt, and we'll build through the draft. One more thing. It does show me what Joe Douglas thinks about the guards in the draft. He's not going to go overpay a guy like a Trey Turner or whoever, guys that are second tier and are going to want, decent money. The guards happen to be a strong point in this draft, and it looks to me like Joe Douglas feels pretty good about them as opposed to paying somebody in free agency.
Interesting take. I love to hear it. We got a super chat from V-Man. In the age of the immobile pocket passers coming to an end, if you take Tom Brady out of the NFL, the rest of the NFL's elite quarterbacks are mobile to a degree. Interesting take, V-Man. Very interesting take. Always appreciate your support, V-Man. You are indeed the man. So, Matt, what's your take on the Joe Douglas free agency approach?
I've liked it for the most part. I think they've added a lot of good guys who could be here for a significant amount of time. It's not someone who's like later in their career and it's like, oh, I'm going to go to the Jets for my last payday and then dip out. Like Carl Lawson's 26 years old. To me, that's my favorite one of the bunch. I think his potential is sky high. I think he's just coming into his prime. Like his pressure numbers were way up last year. And yeah, the sacks weren't there. He had like 5.5 or 6. But when you look at what the rest of this Jets defensive line is going to look like, Quinnen Williams, Sheldon Rankins, who they just brought in, Folu Fatukasi, John Franklin Myers, like they have the potential to have a really, really good defensive line. And them getting after the quarterback, I think you're going to see Lawson's sacks go up this year. As for Corey Davis, like I don't know if he's someone who's going to be a quote unquote legit number 1 receiver, but he's solid and he fits this offense to a T. And he fits what Joe Douglas likes to a T. He blocks really well. He's big. He's physical. He's good after the catch. Like these are all things that I feel like he looks for. And to me, I think we've seen Joe Douglas say like, okay, like this is my kind of guy. On offense, it's someone who can block well, who's physical. And on the defensive side, I look at it with more like upside. I look at the linebacker they brought in. I see upside there. Even Rankins they brought in, who was injured the last couple of years, but a former first round pick. Like the upside is there with those guys. And really my only critique is maybe the cornerback situation scares me right now. I'm not going to lie. And guard still seems like a really big weak spot. So if I were to be critical of anything, it would be those 2 positions. But as Greenbean said, like I feel like we can't really grade the offseason yet until we know what this draft class looks like. So for now, I'm pretty happy with the caveat of still needing a lot of work at corner and guard specifically.
I love it. We got another super chat from Lori saying, I just realized that Todd Gurley is still on the market. If the Jets could get him on a cheap 2-year deal, do you think it would be a good move? So yeah, that's one position that the New York Jets have not tackled. We have not signed any running back. Right now, we got Ty Johnson, LaMichael Pirine. We re-signed Josh Adams. And the running back position is a big question mark. We do not know. Apparently, there's a lot of rumors of the Jets being linked to Tevin Coleman. Who knows if that's true or not? But, Todd Gurley being available is interesting. I just don't think that, if it's a cheap deal, 1-year deal, maybe. But he's washed up, in my opinion. He's way past his prime. I don't think Douglas is going to want to have somebody like a Frank Gore come in here and take, snaps away. Adam Gase wanted Frank Gore in the building for whatever reason, and I think that was a mistake because that held back guys like Ty Johnson and Michael Pirine to get some snaps out there to develop. I think it would not be smart. I don't think Todd Gurley even fits the system of LaFleur. So, Jack, what's your thoughts of Joe Douglas's free agency approach so far?
Yeah, I mean, Matt, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, the guard spot and the cornerback spot especially are still what's really scaring me right now. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how Joe Douglas has handled free agency. It is a very nice, change, us not, spending an absurd amount of money on, Le'Veon Bell and bringing in CJ Mosley and making him the highest paid middle linebacker at the time. And, just crazy things like that now we're kind of, seeing what it's like to have a competent general manager, which is nice. I know there's a lot of people out there that, wish we could have gotten some bigger names. And believe me, I was super upset with Joe Thuney, but like Greenbean said earlier, how are you going to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs still offering you $16 million a year? I don't know if he was going to accept any other deal besides that. So I'm overall pretty satisfied. Like you said before, Matt, upside is the key word here. I see a lot of upside in guys like Gerard Davis and in Rankins, especially, who we just signed, who I'm super excited for. Hopefully he could stay healthy and be a nice little rotating piece on our interior defensive line. I think about Corey Davis, and I like the signing a lot. When I think about Corey Davis, I think about a solid receiver who's going to allow Denzel Mims to hopefully take a big leap this year and really get it going with 2 6'3" receivers on the outside. I think that's going to be fun for whoever's playing quarterback. And then you get a guy like Keelan Cole as well, who I think is a perfect number 4 piece to have in this receiving core, and a cheap 1-year deal. So I think Joe Douglas is making the right moves right now. I understand people that are upset, not being more aggressive with the offensive line or the cornerbacks, but we just gotta remember that we have a lot of draft picks coming up, and we have many more opportunities for Joe Douglas to keep building depth on this roster. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied so far. Just trying to keep a clear head and stay positive throughout the whole process.
As you should. Ali, what are your thoughts on Joe Douglas's free agency approach?
I mean, I really like it. I mean, a lot of these signings are, low risk, high reward type signings. A lot of these signings are. I mean, he's bringing guys that have proven in college, and have not gotten the real shot on their respective teams that they were in last year. And he's bringing them in to see if he can fix them. And that he's taking a chance on these guys. It's low money. It's not risking too much on one player, but these players can be good depth players. He's working through the trenches and trying to get the depth off free agency and trying to draft starters. That's what he's trying to do. Obviously, he made some splashes with Carl Lawson, Corey Davis. Those 2 signings were big time. I think Corey Davis is going to fit perfectly on this offense, especially on play action plays. Lawson, we haven't had a pass rusher for so long, and now we finally have a chance of getting one. So that's one thing. But the one thing you guys didn't touch about judging about Joe Douglas, I think, is the QB situation. That's going to be where he's going to figure out. That's how we're going to judge this offseason of Joe Douglas. That's going to be the hardest decision for Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, because this is the decision that will last them for the couple of years. If they draft whatever quarterback they want in the draft, they're going to see this guy for the next 2-3 years, and they're going to have to develop him correctly. So this is a big decision coming up. Zach Wilson's pro day is this week, so we'll see how that goes. But, so far, I think Joe Douglas is doing pretty well. I think, obviously, a lot of fans want to be more aggressive, and I thought in some cases he should have been a little bit more aggressive. But, so far, I like all the signings. I think it's low-risk, high-reward signings, and you can't really complain about it.
Yeah, I agree, man. Low risk, high reward signings is the mantra, I feel like, in Joe Douglas's head when it comes to free agency. If you guys are new to the stream, we got 210 people. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button. We got 54 likes. Let's get this up to over 100 likes. If you guys are enjoying the stream and you love the special guest of Greenbean and Matt O'Leary, make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you guys are enjoying, and do not forget to subscribe to each and every one of their channels. That is down below in the description. Appreciate everybody. So now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on Joe Douglas's free agency approach. Wow, I can't even speak. I'm too excited about this. So Joe Douglas, right? I just made a whole video about this, a long one too, 18 minutes. So if you guys want to see my in detail thoughts on the free agency approach, check out that video after the stream is wrapped up. So what he's doing right now, and I've said this over and over again in all my live streams for everybody that watches all my content, you know what I'm going to say here. Basically, what Joe Douglas is trying to do that Jets' previous general managers have not done is try to find value in free agency and use it to supplement the draft instead of using it to build the roster, right? We've heard Joe Douglas say countless times, we want to build this thing through the draft. And how do you do that? You do that by setting up this team for financial flexibility for the future. He knows that this team is not going to win a Super Bowl next year. There's holes all over the roster. So he knows he needs to have cap flexibility for the next couple of years so we can improve it every single year. What Joe Douglas is doing with getting guys like Corey Davis and Carl Lawson, those guys signed 3-year deals, and we gave them the most guaranteed money out of everybody that we signed in free agency. Both of those signings have a lot in common. They're young. They're coming off the rookie deals. They're signing their second contract in the NFL, and they're both 25, 26 years old, and they feel like the best is yet to come for them. They want to sign people in free agency that they feel like they want to hit the peak on the Jets. Instead of signing guys like CJ Mosley, Trumaine Johnson, and Le'Veon Bell in previous years like Mike Cagnon did, all three of those guys, Trumaine, CJ, and Le'Veon, hit their peak not on the Jets. So that's the difference. Instead of spending money on guys that's 28, 30 years old, that's kind of hit their peak and they're kind of washed now and they just want to get a payday and then they don't feel any energy to do anything because they got so much money where they don't have any desire to be great. Instead, they're getting hungry guys like Corey Davis and Carl Lawson and Gerard Davis and Keelan Cole. And they all these signings have a lot in common. Sheldon Rankins as well. They're all the same age and they feel like the coaching staff in place will get the utmost potential out of them. And obviously, like everybody mentioned in this live stream, the holes on the interior offensive line, the holes on the cornerback, that's definitely something that we need to talk about because it is gaping. So the one thing I will say about the cornerback position, I think Robert Saleh, as the defensive coach and as the head coach of the New York Jets, if you see what he's done in his previous years on the 49ers and even in Jacksonville, he's a former linebackers coach. He wants to beef up this front seven. He wants to get as many linebackers and defensive linemen and edge pressure on this team as possible to make the defensive backs' jobs easier. Now, is that an excuse to not go out there and improve at all in the cornerback group? No, you need to get guys out there. But if you really beef up the interior defensive line and the edge pressure and the linebacker group, that's going to make the defensive back job so much easier, especially if the Jets defensive line can get to the quarterback on a consistent basis. If the Jets defensive line can stop the run on a consistent basis, that's going to set up this defense. And I'm telling you guys, if you look at the Jets defensive depth chart, we're cornerbacks away from being like really good on paper. Like that's how good this defensive line is. And I love that Robert Saleh came into the building and he's like, yo, Joe, I love this defensive line you guys got. I think it's your best position. Let's add to it. Let's make it even better. He called up Sheldon Rankins and he's like, yo, Sheldon. And I saw this, he said it on an interview on the radio or something. Robert Saleh called Rankins and said, I have a vision. I have a vision of you and Quinnen Williams as my two defensive tackles on the interior with Carl Lawson on the edge. Let's let that happen. And now let's visualize that for a second. Sheldon Rankins is a guy that's very intriguing, former first-round pick, and we saw what he did for the New Orleans Saints when he was healthy in 2018. Unfortunately, he's been battling injuries, so they're hoping that he could be healthy. And if he is healthy and get back to anywhere near where he was in 2018, next to Quinnen Williams, with Carl Lawson on the edge, with Jonathan Franklin-Myers on the other edge, rotating Foley Fatukasi in for run-stopping downs, damn, that defensive line is legit with Gerard Davis, who is known to be more of a blitzing linebacker to come in. CJ Mosley, we'll see what happens with him because there's a lot of trade rumors surrounding his name. So I love this approach from Joe Douglas because previous Jets general managers would have done this. They would have went out there, spent all their money on 2 players instead of, spreading the wealth on 9 players. That's how Joe Douglas does it, and he's using the draft to build this roster. And we're going to see what happens. Only time will tell. And like Ali said, I think Joe Douglas will be judged the most of this free agent of this offseason on the quarterback. We don't even know who our quarterback is. To this day, we don't know. Is it Sam? Is it Zach Wilson? Is it Justin Fields? Is it Trey Lance? Is it still Watson? We have no idea. So for everybody judging Joe Douglas, we have a right to discuss his free agency and say if he's right or wrong here. but do not judge the overall offseason until after the draft, because there's still a lot of trades to happen and there's still a lot of draft picks to happen. And there's still some free agent signings that are still going to happen eventually. So that's my thoughts on the entire free agency. And there's a lot to get in, right? So Prison Mike, Giants loading up. Didn't see that coming. Go Jets. Yeah, Dory Jackson signed with the New York Giants for a 3-year deal. If you guys did not see that, pretty big contract as well. So who cares about the Giants, right? Let's go Jets. So that's my little take on the Jets free agency approach. Now let's get into some individual signings, right? I don't even know which one we should get into first because we kind of all touched on each one. So let's talk about the Carl Lawson signing because I think that's the most pivotal one for the New York Jets because we've lacked an edge pressure for so damn long. So Greenbean, what do you think Carl Lawson is going to do under Coach Rob Saleh?
Well, the thing I like about Lawson the most is that it's his relentless, get at the quarterback guy. If you look at, I was watching a little breakdown of how fast he gets to the quarterback and how well his cornerbacks gave him time. Like when you look at a Jordan Jenkins, all of his sacks were basically because there was no open guy and the quarterback's running around. Everything that Lawson seems to do is within the first 2 or 3 seconds. So his burst is tops in the league, and his edge, the ability to turn the corner is tops in the league, and he's super, super strong. So my favorite thing about him is his motor. Like when you look at a guy like Quinnen Williams, who's incredibly slippery, and these guys, and then you add Rankins, who's just so incredibly strong. His ability to push around the interior of the line. I think that what we're making is a fast squash the quarterback in a very quick amount of time, which takes pressure off the cornerbacks. And that's what I think Carl Lawson is bringing, as opposed to a guy with a big name. And like you said so perfectly, whose best work is behind them. This is a guy coming into his own, coming into his prime. And we locked him up for 3 years. We have not had a guy with burst like him. And I can't remember. I don't think it's been since maybe Calvin Pace, maybe, but it was a different type of player. But that's the last time that we did anything that excited me like this in any capacity.
I agree. So Matt, you want to go in deep on the Carl Lawson signing, what you think he'll bring to the Jets defense?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. As I said earlier, it's by far my favorite. And I'm really a big fan of Corey Davis too. But if you want to see just how dominant he can be, watch the game last year against the Pittsburgh Steelers at the end of the year. I think it was week 15 or week 16. He put on an absolute clinic in the second half of that game. He finished with a sack, a forced fumble, and 6 quarterback hits. And in that second half, he was doing it every single way possible. He was out muscling Villanueva, who's a pretty good left tackle to begin with. He was beating them with speed on both sides. He switched over to the opposite side and was beating up on the right tackle pretty good. But he's someone who isn't like just a one-trick pony where it's like, okay, he's just like ridiculously fast. He'll get around the edge sometimes, and that's how he gets his sack. No, he can win with his speed, but he could also win with just his pure physicality. I don't know how much you've seen of this guy, but he's a workout freak. He's gigantic. So I think in this system specifically with Robert Saleh, who pretty much just says, hey, I want my 4 guys on the defensive line to just get after the quarterback and we'll figure out the rest. I think this is perfect for him. I think this is a home run of a signing from Joe Douglas.
And let's hope so, because what he will bring to the Jets, if he is everything that we're expecting him to be, that elusive, speedy edge pressure, that's going to, unlock Quinnen Williams to another level, and the defense as a whole. So, Jack, want to give us your thoughts on Carl Lawson and how he's going to impact this Jets defense?
Yeah, man. Super, super hyped about that signing. We haven't had an edge presence in I don't even remember how long. And, he's kind of a freak of nature when you look at him. He's so jacked up and he's so fast off the line. And he just explodes off the line of scrimmage. And, I'm just really excited to see what he can do under Robert Saleh. I mean, we see what San Francisco has been doing to opposing quarterbacks over the last few years. And if we could get that going in New York, I mean, like you said, Rich, this makes it a little bit lighter on our secondary, which is is far off from being good secondary at the moment in time. But I mean, Lawson, I just feel like is the perfect Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas prototype to just bring in. I mean, we already know how hyped he is to be here. he put up that legendary Instagram story that was popping off on Jets Twitter that we all loved. And yeah, I'm just hyped to have him here. He said he wants to come here and help build a winning culture. So those are the types of players that we need. And he's a young guy who I feel like, is probably entering his prime. And we got him locked up for 3 years, and I'm hyped about that, man. I really am hyped about that. I feel like it's going to do great things for Quinnen Williams and Franklin Myers and Foley and whoever we're going to rotate in on that, and Sheldon Rankins now as well, whoever we're going to be rotating in on the interior. I think it's just going to open that up so much more. And I'm just really, really excited about the signing. I'm trying to think of a negative thing to say about it. I really can't. I think it's the perfect move for us right now, where we are as an organization.
Yeah, and I love that this is the biggest contract we handed out, and it's at a position of need and a premier position in the NFL that we have lacked for so long. Like, if you're going to spend a lot of money, spend it on an edge rusher. And it's not even that much, but at the same time it is. So for Joe Douglas to put $30 million guaranteed into this guy, I'm happy. Ali, what are your thoughts on Carl Lawson?
Yeah, I mean, Greenbean, Matt, Jack, all of them, pretty much named everything that we wanted to hear about Carl Lawson. But the one thing that, stood out to me is from his scrimmage, his get-off speed, because he's ranked top 5 since he's entered the league in get-up speed. And this past season, he's 0.73 seconds this past year for get-up speed, which is the 4th in the NFL. So you're getting a speedy guy. You're getting an actual pass rusher, and that's obviously going to open up for all these other guys to produce, like Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers. So, when I was ecstatic when we signed him, just like everyone on this panel. And I think this is a great move from the Jets' perspective. And hopefully we have a pass rusher for the next, at least 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, right? We need a longevity at this position. We got a super chat from Max is NY Jets. I have a mock draft to share with the second pick. I want the Jets to draft Zach Wilson, and with the 23rd pick, I want the Jets to draft Patrick Surtain. Matt, what are your thoughts on this first-round mock draft?
I don't think Patrick Surtain makes it past the Dallas Cowboys, but if he's there at 23, I would be running to the board, to the phone call, whatever they do at the draft. You know what I mean?
What about you, Greenbean? What do you think about this first round mock draft?
It's good. I'm not sold on Wilson. That's my thing. So, but yeah, it's okay.
Why are you not sold on Wilson? I don't want to put you on the spot, but that's 80% of Jets Twitter wants him.
90% of Jets Twitter is reading the other 89% of Jets Twitter and seeing what they say. So, you know what I mean? So yeah. I don't dislike him. I'm a big, and Matt and I have gone around, with this one a little bit. I really look at things like the strength of who you play. Wilson was the least pressured quarterback in college football. So it's like when anybody can sit back there comfortably and thread a needle, it's as soon as the pressure comes in. Like there was a quarterback, Kerry Collins, years ago for the Giants. He did great things. And then when he played the Baltimore Ravens and that great defense, he had happy feet from the second play because they were coming for him. And I'm curious to see how a guy like him actually handles legit pressure, because it changes everything. I said, I'm not an anti-Wilson fan. I just don't love him like everybody else. And so I would rather, quite frankly, trade it and get oodles and oodles of fun to play with for our mock drafts than just take a guy at 2 at this point.
Would you trade down and take a QB, or would you trade down and build around Sam?
What I would do is, it depends. If I traded down to 4 and got whatever, and like Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or whoever I liked was still there, like if they took a guy and the other guy that I liked, better was still there, I might do that. But I'd probably trade back to 7 or 8 and then I just take Sam for a year and just build this mega team that I could build out of all these picks, and then maybe take a Mac Jones if he was there at 23 kind of a thing.
Very interesting, because Jets fans, I think we've never been more divided in an offseason in history because the quarterback position is in question. And that's the biggest, position in all sports. And I love that take because it's the non-majority, it's the minority type of take. Nobody really, no, I wouldn't say nobody. I would say a handful of Jets fans want to do that. But if you really think about it, it really makes a lot of sense. And if you think of Joe Douglas's mind, I feel like he's definitely thinking about that. We got another super chat from the NY Bully. Are cornerbacks overrated in his Bobby Saleh cover 3, cover 4 defense, especially since we've done a good job addressing the pass rush? So, yeah, I mean, I went over this. I wouldn't say they're overrated, but the Robert Saleh mindset and the way he's trying to build his Jets defense and what he's done in the past is the defensive front has made the defensive backs look better. And his mindset is we're going to take the pressure off the corners where they do not really have to worry that much because we're going to put so much pressure on the quarterback. We're going to stop the run at an elite level where it kind of helps the cornerbacks a lot. So maybe that's why they're putting all their money into a Sheldon Rankins and a Carl Lawson, and instead of putting their money into an Adoree Jackson and into, Kyle Fuller. And I think they're going to draft heavy corners because they want to get young at that position, because cornerbacks, that's a position you want to draft and develop your own, because they're another position that you need to pay a lot of money for, and there's not a lot of good ones in free agency every year. And if you want a good one in free agency, you got to pay a lot of money. And I don't see Joe Douglas overspending for an established corner. He wants to get his own. And I kind of am remembering, we got Bryce Hall, and I think Bryce Hall has a lot of upside on this Jets team, and I feel like he's going to be a guy to watch to be the starter. Maybe not our CB1, but potentially CB2. And we'll see about Bless Austin, but the cornerback position will be addressed for sure. And then we got another super chat from Jets by Jimmy. Look at the losses Wilson had in his career. He doesn't fold when things are going wrong. Mistakes, sure, but he rebounds. So, Matt, would you agree with this take on Zach Wilson, or what do you got to say about it?
No, I think it's an interesting take. And when I look at Zach Wilson, I understand when people say the competition argument. At the same time, I would flip that back and say that the guys he was playing on he had like 26-year-old journeyman playing on his team that he was throwing the ball to. So you could really make the case on both sides. And same for Justin Fields. I really like both of them a lot. And for me personally, like, I just can't sit here and look at what Darnold did last year and where he's been in his progression and now regression. I can't sit there with the number 2 pick in a good quarterback draft and in good faith say, okay, I'm comfortable moving out of that pick and praying that Sam works out in year 4. I hope it does. If you are to do that, like, I get it. Like, I really hope it works, because if not, like, Joe Douglas is on thin ice at that point, very thin ice. He knows that. That's why I think he would want to bring in his own guy personally. But I'm more aligned with Jets by Jimmy when I look at Wilson's loss, especially the Coastal Carolina one. I thought he played a pretty good game, even though they lost.
Interesting take.
Can I say one thing, Richie? So this Jets by Jimmy character is actually he's my co-host for the Monday Night Mocks that we do. And I want to just say, Jimmy, you don't have to yell at me through here. You could wait till later and just get me later. He's yelling at me. That's what he's doing, the bastard.
Oh, he has another thing to say, actually.
Oh, look at this guy.
But we'll get to George first. George says, I know it's way too early to say, but it'll be nice to see our division become the next NFC West. I know these 4 coaches will be fun to see. Fins up. So this is a Dolphins fan tuning in. Shout out to George. Appreciate all the AFC East roundtable supporters tuning in. So, Jack, what are your thoughts? Do you think the AFC East has potential to be extremely competitive like the NFC West in the future, or even this year?
Yeah, I think definitely on with the path that all the teams are going. I mean, we can never, I don't care what we saw last year, as long as Bill Belichick is still, in charge of that organization, we can never rule out the New England Patriots. Hate to say it, guys, but we're still the underdogs. I know we feel like we're the kings of the world, but we just came off of a 2-14 season, so we have a lot to prove. I think it will be competitive, maybe a year or two down the road. I think that, obviously the Buffalo Bills have proved what kind of team they are and what kind of organization they've built around Josh Allen. The Dolphins are trending up. I really like what Brian Flores is doing in there, besides, pulling Tua out when they're losing. I don't understand that. But yeah, man, I think that these 4 teams are I think it definitely has the potential to be a fun division down the road. Maybe even this year. Who knows? I mean, we hope so as Jet fans, but we got to just trust the process, man.
And now it's an officially defensive division. All 4 head coaches have a defensive background, which is very interesting. Ali, what are your thoughts? Do you think the AFC East is going to be a super competitive division?
I mean, it will be competitive, but I think the Jets are going to still end up at the last in the division because I just don't see. I see Buffalo Bills being up there. I think the Patriots improved their team dramatically this offseason, and I think they still got the draft going, so I think they'll improve a lot more than people think. I think their defense is going to be insane for the Patriots. Offense is a little bit, a question mark with Cam Newton as a quarterback, but they have surrounded this team around him. So, and the Dolphins, they're a really big question mark, but they've changed that culture in Miami. So, we'll see what happens there, but I think the Jets have a lot of work to do. I don't think they're going to be getting results literally in year 1 with a new head coach. I would be really shocked, but I think we're heading in the right direction, and it will be competitive soon.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's be competitive soon. That's really all I care about at this point. Jets by Jimmy is back.
One sec. I'm gonna head out. I got to take care of my niece and nephew. So I'll see you guys soon. Pleasure having you, Matt. Greenbean. Talk to you soon.
All right, Ali. Be
Later,
good.
Ali.
I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Thanks for joining in, bro. All right, guys, that's Ali. You guys know where to find him. Subscribe to him down below in the description. Official loyal NY Jet fans. And we got Jets by Jimmy with another super chat in the Zach Wilson discussion. Competition doesn't make you throw farther, or more accurately, it doesn't make you more mobile. Wilson checks the boxes. So, Greenbean, what do you got to say to your guy Jimmy about that?
It actually does. So, I mean, that's a simple way to look at it, but competition absolutely helps you. If you're getting pressured and don't have time to set your feet, you cannot throw as far. If the defensive backs are better and can block your passes, like your receptions go down. It's actually, I disagree with every single word he just said.
All right, Jets by Jimmy. Your guy Greenbean's coming at you. He's coming at you.
I love it. Greenbean.
I love it. Thank you, Jets by Jimmy. Appreciate the donations as always. So let's get into more individual players that we signed and get our thoughts on it. I noticed that we got over 100 likes. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. If you guys are new to the stream and you guys did not smash that thumbs up button, please make sure you do so. We got over 300 people watching. And if you guys are new to Jets Media and you are coming across the stream for the first time, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and also subscribe to everybody in the stream. That is down below in the description. Matt O'Leary, Greenbean, the Jets fan, and Jack McGalley Music. So the next guy I want to talk about is Corey Davis, because that is the other big ticket signing. We gave him a 3-year, $37.5 million contract. And that's a lot of money for a receiver. That's around $12.5 million per year. So, Matt, what are your thoughts on the Jets investing money into the former 5th overall pick, Corey Davis?
Yeah, again, similar to what he's done all offseason, he's taking a flyer in a sense that it's not massive money. It's a nice chunk of money, but he's taking someone who was scouted as that kind of a prospect who went in the top 5. Same with some of these other guys who he signed that were drafted so high. But there's a lot of things to like about Corey Davis's game. He reminds you a lot of Denzel Mims, and I think that with both of them on the outside and a guy like Crowder who's more slippery and kind of speedy on the inside, it has the potential to be a nice receiving trio. And that's the thing. Like, he's not someone who's going to come in here and be your prototypical number 1 receiver, put up 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. But is he going to give you 807? I would say that's probably a pretty fair estimation, maybe 900 yards in that range. And if Mims does the same thing on the other side and Crowder does something similar in the slot to what he has the last 2 years, then you're in really good shape and you have a nice, diverse wide receiver core, which is, I think, what he really wants in the end.
Very true. We got another donation from the NY Bully. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. If we stick with Sam, all that does is set us back on finding our franchise quarterback by another year. We've already passed on Mahomes and Watson for Adams. So, yeah, this is the argument. There's always the takes because we can look back at the 2017 draft, was that? And we passed up on that because we drafted Christian Hackenberg. the year before, I think, in the second round. So we're like, oh, we got a quarterback for the future. Let's just run with Josh McCown and draft the safety. And you also got to realize, I think that was Todd Bowles' first draft with the Jets. So he wanted to get, some defensive safety, as Todd Bowles was a former safety. And they drafted Jamal Adams and Marcus May in the first and second rounds that year, which turned out to be good and then bad and then good because we got a lot of draft capital from Jamal. So let's turn it into a positive, right? Even though Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson are generational. NY Bully, appreciate the donation, man. So, Greenbean, what are your thoughts on the Corey Davis signing, and what do you think he's going to do? And do you think he was worth the contract that we gave him?
Well, yeah, and just to touch on that super chat, I mean, that is the best argument for not passing on a quarterback. I mean, especially because we have that so close in our memory, and I hear that, and I think that's a really good point to make, unless you like Hackenberg, of course. But yeah, I think Corey Davis is really interesting. Number one, I like Joe Douglas's philosophy of bringing in former first-round picks. I mean, look, in free agency, we just signed 3 of them. 3 former first-round picks. Last year, he did Perryman, and we still have Doxson on the roster. Don't forget that. I don't know what they're going to do with him. But Joe Douglas definitely has a type with receivers. Every receiver he's brought in is 6'2" and above. And I think the blocking downfield has been a very consistent theme with him as well. And I really like it. I like the idea of Davis and Mims. It doesn't really go with the Shanahan offense type, but I think Joe D has a type. And we're going to see what a LaFleur offense looks like. But having 2 guys that, number 1, can catch, number 2, their routes are pretty crisp, and number 3, block downfield. That's really exciting to have receivers that way. And again, coming into his prime, I think it's absolutely worth the money. And it's not $18 million. That much I can tell you. 12's a lot, but it's not 18. So I think this goes right along with what Joe Douglas is looking for, value. And I think Davis definitely epitomizes the value.
Another thing I just thought of in my head before we get to Jack on his thoughts on Corey Davis is, remember last year we all were pounding the table for Robbie Anderson, right? And what was the contract he signed with the Panthers? Does any of you guys know?
2 for 2012 the first year.
2 for 2012?
12
okay.
The first year.
12
So that's similar to what we gave Corey. So would you guys rather have Robbie Anderson still or get Corey Davis in the building right now? It's interesting. I just thought of it. Because if we re-signed Robbie Anderson last year, Corey Davis is not a Jet. And I think Joe Douglas learned. He's like, okay, last year I should have gave Robbie the money because we saw Robbie this year. He was a very good player for the Panthers. He definitely wasn't someone that we thought was going to walk out the door, get paid, and be a scrub. He was a very good player for the Panthers. But I think Joe Douglas said, you know what? This wide receiving group is that bad. I cannot bank on it being terrible again. I need to invest some money into it. And that's why he went out and got someone like Corey Davis for this contract. And I'm happy he did because I think he's still going to draft a ton as well. So, Jack, what are your thoughts on the Corey Davis signing? And what do you think the guy is going to do in his first year with the New York Jets?
Yeah, well, just touching on your point you just made right there, I'd probably, although Robbie Anderson, was an overall pretty decent receiver for us, and he was building a nice little connection with Sam Darnold. I think Corey Davis is a more complete receiver. I think, well, this year proved that Robbie Anderson could be used in more than just a deep ball threat. I think that's kind of what he was relegated to on the Jets, is just throwing him the bombs over the top. And his usage on the Panthers kind of proved that he is a very solid receiver. But I still think that Corey Davis is a more complete receiver. And so I like the fact that we brought him in. And now, getting into detail on Corey Davis, like you guys just said, former first-round pick, 5th overall pick. I think, the value is exactly right. It's decent money, but it's certainly not, Kenny Golladay money. I think that Joe Douglas hit it pretty well. And like I said earlier in the stream, I think that he's a solid receiver to have on the other side of Denzel Mims. They're both very similar in stature and frame, and I think that they kind of have similar games. And I'm really hoping that Corey Davis is going to command just enough attention so that we can really show to the league how good Denzel Mims really can be, especially in this new offense that's going to be implemented here. And I'm really looking for a breakout year from Mims. And I think Corey Davis can really help that. I mean, you look at Corey Davis, he's coming off of a year a hair under 1,000 yards on the same team as AJ Brown and Derrick Henry. Let's not forget that it was a super run heavy offense in Tennessee, and Corey Davis scratched out a nice little year for himself. So I think that the value is spot on, and I think that we brought in a good guy to mentor Mims and all that good stuff. And like Greenbean touched on, all of our receivers are capable of blocking downfield. And I think that's, a very valuable thing to have in your receiving core. So I just think it's a great move, man. I think it's another really positive move for the Jets. Very excited about it.
Yeah, I agree. And just to touch up on one more thing about Corey Davis that I love, and I think Greenbean and or Matt discussed it, the blocking. We saw what Denzel Mims did last year for a blocking wide receiver, and that's a lost art. I wouldn't say it's a lost art, but that's something that some people do not realize is a big part of football, is blocking wide receivers. And Corey Davis is a very good blocking receiver. Denzel Mims, we saw for a rookie, was a very good blocking receiver. They're both 6'3 plus, big body guys. And this is an outside run heavy type of offense. And if we're trying to get those outside runs, we need a wide receiver to set the edge with that block. So that's another good thing about Corey Davis. I think the expectations should be high for Corey Davis from Jets fans just because of the contract we gave him. And rightfully so. He's jumping into that wide receiver one role because of the contract we gave him. But I genuinely think the development, like Jack said, of Denzel Mims is going to be the biggest reason for this. Because if we went into this season by drafting a receiver or, settling for a guy that's not like a Corey Davis name, and we go in with Denzel Mims and then a rookie on the outside and then James Crowder in the slot and then a veteran we brought in, like Keelan Cole said, we still brought him in, then all the focus will be on Denzel. Now all the focus will be on Corey Davis, and it's going to open things up for Denzel. And I think that Denzel Mims is going to be a huge X factor for this offense because he was misused in Adam Gase, and I'm excited to see what he can do. So this next topic I want to talk about, which is very interesting. What could the Jets get for the second overall pick? Because Greenbean, when we were live on Jets Talk 24/7, we were talking about this. And you opened my eyes because you think that this pick is worth a lot, right? And knowing Joe Douglas, he knows that he wants to build this thing through the draft. And he's also somebody that answers the phone no matter what they're calling for. So say he wants a quarterback and then all of a sudden, well, no, we shouldn't say that because I do not think the Jets should trade this pick down if they're not sold on Sam Darnold being their quarterback for the future. They need to be sold on Sam. They need to be saying to Sam Darnold, we trust you. We believe in you. So we're trading this pick down. If they have the mindset of let's trade this pick down, we'll ride with Sam for a year. If he sucks, then they're thinking already ahead of how they're going to replace Sam the year after that. So with that being said, Greenbean, say a team like the Carolina Panthers with the 8th pick want to move up to that 2nd pick. What kind of haul would you expect the Jets to get? Or what do you think is reasonable?
Well, if we were going to jump all the way down to 8, then it would be very, very expensive. I mean, there are going to be teams in the middle there that also want to try to jump up when the Jets let them know that the Panthers are trying to jump them. So there's going to be all kinds of negotiating and lobbying back and forth. I think realistically, you're talking about 3 firsts and change, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, kind of a thing like that. Like it's going to be serious. And this is a quarterback draft. Like just moving up when there's, lesser players like in the Dwayne Haskins, Daniel Jones draft. That was a different draft. It wasn't worth as much then. This is a very valuable year to have the number 2 overall pick. And like I said, I really do believe 3 firsts is not unrealistic.
And you think, like, say we go down to 4 or 6, then what do you think the haul would be there?
Well, I think if you go down to 4, you let Atlanta know that, hey, somebody's trying to get ahead of you, and you let them come up, you could get the number 4 overall pick, a number 4 next year, their 2nd this year, maybe a 4th this year and a 4th next year, that kind of thing. So you're thinking about number 4, their 2nd and a 4th, number for their 1st next year and a 2nd next year, that sort of a haul, just to go back to 4. Now, when you're at 4, let's say they take Wilson and Justin Fields is still there, Trey Lance is still there. believe me, teams like the Panthers and the Lions, they're going to be interested in moving up. That's when you can get another first next year, a second, and it's going to be less to go for, to 7 once one quarterback's off the board, but you could get a remarkable haul in both scenarios. But yeah, and that's what you have to consider, man. You can get 3 firsts, and some seconds and thirds and all that could be franchise changing in addition to what we've already accumulated.
So Matt, what are your thoughts on the Jets trading down? Because I know what you said before, you don't want them to make the same mistake in 2018 and passing up a quarterback. When you have that second overall pick and you have a question mark at the quarterback, and it's such a quarterback-heavy draft with a guy like Zach Wilson and Justin Fields, who we think has a ton of potential to be a franchise quarterback, what about trading down from the pick do you think would be a good thing, and why do you think it could be a mistake as well?
Yeah, so if you trade back and Sam is a massive outlier and takes a jump to like a top 10 quarterback, then Joe Douglas will look like an absolute genius. But if he if they trade back and he looks like a poor man's Jimmy Garoppolo, then that's a bit of an issue. If the Jets are sitting at 6-10 and Sam Darnold played, 14 games and threw for like 3,400 yards or something like that, and a couple of touchdowns, and still had, interceptions around, 14 plus. Here's what I'll say. I really liked Sam Darnold as a prospect coming out a few years ago, and I thought he showed promise in year 1 and 2. I just genuinely think that with how much he regressed this past year, and with where the Jets are sitting with the number 2 pick, and how they have the opportunity to take a much better prospect, someone that I look at, I like both Justin Fields and Zach Wilson better than I like Sam Darnold coming out. I personally would do that. It sucks because I remember a couple of years ago how excited I was. That's okay, Sam Darnold, this is our guy. And to see what he went through last year, it's scary. I was recording my podcast earlier and someone asked me to rank the Sam Darnold games from this past year, all 12 that he played, from best to worst. His best game was the Rams game, and he had like 207 passing yards and like a 6.5 yards per attempt. Like his best game was something that quarterbacks do in their sleep on the regular. That's a poor game for a lot of these guys in the top 15. So while I think that absolutely Adam Gase had a major factor in this, I just don't see how you could want to take that risk with having to pay him soon and running it back and things go poorly when you have the kind of prospects that you do at the top of this draft. That's my take on it. I know I'm not going to change the minds of people who want to stick with Sam Darnold, and they're not going to change my minds. It's kind of just, it is what it is, and we'll see what Joe Douglas does kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's the so unique thing about this offseason. Like I said, it's the offseason of division of Jets fans, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion. And if you guys disagree in the chat with myself, with Greenbean, with Matt, with Jack, that is totally okay. We're just using our platforms to use our opinions and to voice our opinions. You guys in the chat, please feel free to voice your opinions, and we'll get to all you guys in the chat and see, because definitely from reading the chat from this entire live stream so far, it seems like it's like split down the middle. I see a lot of Sam Darnold believers. I see please trade back. I see no, get Zach Wilson, he's the guy. Get Justin Fields, he's the guy. And it just like thinking about that and then putting my mind where Joe Douglas is, and like he's the guy that has to do this. Like we don't have to make this decision. We can prefer all we want. We can sit back and say, yeah, we got to get Justin Fields. He's the franchise quarterback. That's so easy to say because that's what we prefer. But imagine being the guy that has to do it and knowing that if I don't get this right, my job is over. Like, that's so scary. So, Jack, what are your thoughts on this topic? And what do you think the Jets could get from that second overall pick? And what would you do with that second pick?
The more I think about it, I think that Joe Douglas is going to trade this pick down. I think that as difficult of a decision as it is, between potentially missing a franchise quarterback or potentially having, 6 picks in the first 3 rounds of the draft to play with now and to use to build up this team. From what I've seen from Joe Douglas so far throughout his tenure as our general manager, the evidence would lead me to believe that he's going to trade this pick back for that haul. I just feel like that's the type of GM he is. I understand, you can't really deny the fact that Sam definitely regressed this year, but, I'm looking at the fact that Adam Gase was the head coach. He didn't have a real quarterbacks coach. He was throwing Chris Hogan and Jeff Smith. He was forced to he's not Peyton Manning. He's not calling his own plays at the line of scrimmage. What Gase is calling is what was being run. So, the fact that, 10 times a game we had to watch Braxton Berrios run a little 5-yard out route, it just made me sick to my stomach. I really feel like the Jets organization completely failed him from the moment he became our quarterback. So now it puts us in a sticky situation because I do think that there's still a lot of upside in Sam Darnold's game. But, now it puts Joe Douglas in that situation where if he sticks with Sam for this year and, gets his haul, that's all well and good. But if Sam regresses even more, then, his job could potentially be in trouble. Who knows? So it's a very sticky situation and a tough, extremely tough decision for Joe Douglas to make. But, I really am in the line of thinking that there's still plenty of upside to Sam's game. I would love to see him in this LaFleur offense. I think that's, kind of perfect for his game in particular. So I think with the haul that you get from that second pick, I understand some people out there are super, super high on Zach Wilson. I'm kind of in the middle. I'll really end up supporting whatever they decide to do. Yeah. That really is what it comes down to. But I really wouldn't mind sticking with Sam, and I don't think it's the end of the world to have to reevaluate the QB spot next year. I know that sounds crazy, and it even sounds crazy to me because I know how important the QB position is. But if it doesn't pan out with Sam Darnold after one more season, just the opportunity that we're going to get to trade back that second pick in a quarterback-heavy draft like this, I just don't picture Joe Douglas passing up on that. So if it doesn't stick out with Sam, if it doesn't pan out with Sam, that's one thing. But I really think that it's just an incredible opportunity that you'd be given this year by trading that pick back and still, having a pick in the top 10, maybe being able to grab Kyle Pitts and have a crazy freakish tight end out there, wide receiver, hybrid, whatever you want to call this guy. So, I just think it's a super enticing scenario, but it's tough, man. I know that, I'm not going to make anybody agree with me based on what I've just said. And, everybody's entitled to feel how they want to feel because the Jets just make us sad year in and year out. But that's okay, man, because I feel like we finally got the right GM in the building. And I feel like whatever decision he ends up making, I'm going to support it. I'm not going to be mad if we draft Trey Lance. I'm not going to be mad because that means that Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas see something in him and trust him to bring him in and lead this team. And if that guy ends up being Sam Darnold, then I'm fine with that as well. Zach Wilson, I'm fine. Fields, I'm fine. I think we all still have Deshaun Watson in the back of our heads, but I think that's kind of simmering down as the days go on here. But listen, man, I know it could be considered a cop out to some, but whatever they do, I will support it. I think that we got the right minds in the building now, finally, after so many years. So I'm just very excited to see what happens. There's endless possibilities.
Well said. According to Robert Saleh himself, which is a pretty good source, we're going to keep Sam. So that's some breaking news. You guys know where you guys heard this news on the Jets media live stream with Greenbean and Matt and Jack. We've officially found out who our QB is going to be. Dylan says Herbert's worst game is better than Sam's best. And this is the biggest reason why lots of people have given up on Sam Darnold, and they are completely right. I don't blame anybody that looks at Sam Darnold and says that guy cannot be our quarterback anymore. Because if you look at his stats, if you look at his year in year 3, it was beyond insanely terrible. The regression was real. The trajectory that Sam Darnold was on, he was supposed to have a breakout third year. If you look at his rookie season and then you look at his stats in year 2, he improved in every single statistical category compared to his rookie season. So going into his year 3, every single Jets fan, I don't think anybody had their worries with Sam. I think maybe some people did, but the majority of Jets fans going into year 3 with Sam, because, in year 1 and year 2, he finished off the year good. He finished off the year with this amount of touchdowns to this amount of picks. It was all positive, and then he just stunk it up. So I do not blame Jets fans for saying Sam cannot be your guy, because I remember watching the games and seeing Sam making terrible mistakes. And if he continues that, is that turnover problem going to be with him for the rest of his career? Who knows? But like I said, it's going to be a discussion that's going to be going on all the way until the draft. And we'll be here giving you guys our thoughts, giving you guys our opinions. We can get into some debates eventually, because it's going to start getting a little friction as we head in. So we're going to let Greenbean and Matt O'Leary scoot out of the stream, because they were going to join for an hour, and Jack and I are going to stay in and answer all your questions. So we're going to open this up to a Jets Q&A. So everybody in the chat, say your farewell to Greenbean and Matt. Greenbean, you have anything to say before you go?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for bringing me on. It's always fun. I love this show. And if you guys are looking for anything to do later, the 10 o'clock mock over at Greenbean Jets Fan YouTube, it's going to be a blast. And so that's what I'll be doing. Come on out and join us.
Yeah, make sure that is down below in the description for Greenbean's YouTube channel, Greenbean Jets Fan. Matt, how about you, man?
Thank you again for having me on. It's always a lot of fun talking New York Jets. Even when we don't agree on stuff, it's just good to like get it out. We need to talk this stuff through.
Yes, yes,
It's very therapeutic, and appreciate you having me on.
As always, Matt, Greenbean, both you guys, appreciate you guys always tuning in and being special guests, and especially leading up to the draft. These gentlemen will be on the stream probably a lot. So stay tuned for that, you guys. I'll be hitting you guys up, because it seems like a lot of you guys everybody in the chat loves these two guys. I saw somebody in the chat say, seeing all these Jets YouTubers together, it feels like the Avengers movie when everybody comes together at the end, which was funny. Awesome. So again, if you guys are not subscribed to Matt and Greenbean, make sure you do so. That is down below in the description. Greenbean and Matt, I'll catch you guys.
See you guys.
Later, guys.
All right, so you guys are left with us, the ugly ones, Richie and Jack.
No.
So
actually,
if you guys want
to, it's gonna have to be you for like 2 minutes. I gotta grab my phone charger. I'm at 1%.
All right, all good, man. If
right
you guys want to ask us any questions, feel free to do so. We're gonna open this up to a Jets Q&A. Appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We got Matt O'Leary and Greenbean that just left the building. Jack's gonna go to the bathroom. So anybody want to ask us questions, like I said, feel free to do so. So we got into a lot of stuff in the stream. As you guys know, we talked about what the hell we're going to do with the quarterback. We went over all of the, free agency signings, the Joe Douglas approach. We went over Corey Davis, Carl Lawson. There's some players we did not go over. So if you guys want us to talk about Keelan Cole, if you guys want us to talk about Sheldon Rankins, even Justin Hardy, LaMarcus Joyner, I'm down to talk about anything. All right, so we got a question. What's your favorite combo for the first 3 picks? So everybody in the chat, I want you guys to answer this. So this Jets Q&A is going to be with everybody. It's not going to just be me and Jack answering this. Everybody in the chat, let's see it. So what? Oh, wait, before I get into this, Lord Supreme, he got his merch today. Yo, send me a picture. DM me a picture of you wearing the merch, and I want to see it. If you guys are interested in Jets Media merch, that is down below in the description, jetsmedia.shop. Appreciate that, Lord Supreme. Hope you enjoy it. So where did this question go? Oh, yeah. So what's your favorite combo for the first 3 picks? Okay. Say pick number 2, Zach Wilson. Pick number 23, J.C. Horn. Pick number 34, Wyatt Davis. I think that would be a home run if we can get that. If J.C. Horn could fall to 23, that would be a home run pick. And then Wyatt Davis at 34, we need to beef up that interior offensive line. As we know, the cornerbacks and the interior offensive line is a big need.
What up?
We're back. So our first question is this, Jack. What's your favorite combo for the first 3 picks? My answer was Zach Wilson, J.C. Horn, and then Wyatt Davis.
All right, I'll switch it up. I'll go trade back. So I'll go trade back with the Panthers, per se. I feel like that's the most popular scenario that's been floating around. Trade back to 8, grab Pitts. Pitts at 8, grab Elijah Vera Tucker at 23, and grab a corner at 34. I don't know who's going to be available at 34, but the top corner available at 34, that's how I want it to shake out. I think that would be best case scenario.
Interesting. I think there's so many different scenarios that has been coming this way. That's going to be wild.
Our biggest weaknesses as of right now throughout, like, a week into the free agency process, our biggest weaknesses are still, guard and cornerback. So I think that you trade that pick back, you get a player who's thought to be a generational type talent at the tight end position in Kyle Pitts. I don't know if this is true, but I saw somebody said in the chat before that he ran like a 4.46 40 or something like that. That's like insanely fast. I don't know if that's true, but this kid looks like he's going to be something special. So I think we grab him. I think he'll be a great weapon for Sam Darnold once we trade the number 2 pick back. And I think you grab your guard at 23, and I think you grab your cornerback at 34, and I think Joe Douglas hits a home run.
Interesting. So, yeah, man, I think the first 3 picks are going to be very interesting. If you guys want to give us your first 3 picks in the chat, feel free to do so. And also, ask away any questions you guys want. Send it in the chat. We'll be answering your guys' questions for the next 30 minutes or so. Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot so far in the stream. Free agency. Whew. So, let's see. Did Salah really say that about Sam? Did he say what about Sam? I don't know what you're referring to. Maybe Salah talking about Sam's the guy. That was a joke. I hope nobody took that seriously. Salah is not actually in the chat.
Did you miss a super chat from John?
Did I?
I don't know. That's what some people are saying. You might have.
It's not coming up. I don't see it. I really hope not, because I really do not want to miss any of your guys' super chats. Yeah, I don't think I did.
I didn't see it. I didn't see one come in, to be honest.
I'm sorry if you did.
In before.
Very sorry if I did. That's my apologies. I did not see that.
Just send you don't have to send another super chat, obviously, but just send your little question or whatever it was in there, John, and we'll make sure we get to it.
For sure.
I see multiple people saying it, so.
My apologies, man. My apologies. So, let's see.
Because John's my guy, John is the biggest Sam Darnold supporter in the whole chat. So John's my guy, man. You're my guy, John.
Motivated T says he's disappointed in the free agency. That's okay, man. We're all entitled to our own opinions. Hopefully, for both of our sakes, I think you can agree that hopefully you're wrong, right? Hopefully it was a good free agency, just in terms of the Jets being good, right? Jake says, as a Bills fan, when should we be worried to play y'all? I would say
Bills fan. I don't know. Maybe
I wouldn't say next year. Give us next year, not this coming year, not 2021, 2022. We're coming for you. We're coming for the division in 2022.
Listen, man, shout out to the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, exactly. We got to be realistic here, man. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills building around a quarterback the right way, something that the New York Jets failed to do. As we all know, Sam Darnold and Josh Allen were taken within, 5 or 6 picks of each other. So, yeah, I mean, shout out to the Bills, man. You guys built a fun team to watch, man. I hate to say it, but it's true.
I hate it. I hate it.
Doesn't that suck? Like Josh Allen is like an elite quarterback. Like what? Doofus looking Josh Allen.
How are you disappointed in the Jets free agency? I saw a source that showed the Jets are the 3rd most improved roster in the NFL. That is a good thing. I agree, Jets by Jimmy. I'm not the one that said I'm disappointed. I don't think think that I think that, but somebody else thinks that the Jets had a disappointing free agency, and I agree with you, Jimmy. I definitely agree with you. Any other questions? Make sure you shoot it our way. Enjoy the division for the rest of Josh Allen's career. Interesting, Luis. Zach Wilson's development in the NFL will go hand in hand with the Jets' development in becoming a good team. Yeah, man. If we draft him,
Zach Wilson guy. This is the Zach Wilson guy. Listen, I mean, I'll say it before. Let me start that again. I'll say what I said before again. I would not be upset if the Jets drafted Zach Wilson, because that means they see a guy that they believe in to lead this team, and I'll be fine with that. I think that the opportunity you get by trading that pick down is too good to pass up, honestly. I don't think Zach Wilson is, a franchise altering quarterback. I think he's certainly got a lot of potential. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be angry with drafting Zach Wilson at all. So I hope you guys don't think that.
Yeah, we'll see what they actually do.
Yeah.
Hey, Richie, Finns fan, found you on the AFC East Roundtable. Great channel. Do you feel the Jets move out of the basement this year? And if so, who do you jump? Thank you so much. Tech me out. Appreciate the support. And I think the reference he is trying to say is, are we going to not be in last place in the division? And if we do go in third or second, who's going to be last? What do you think, Jack? Do you think we're going to finish in fourth place this year in the division again? Or do you think we're going to leapfrog someone? And if it's anybody, who's in the basement?
I mean, listen, man, the Bills own the division as of right now. Crazy to say that, but the Bills own the AFC East. It is no longer the New England Patriots. But like I said earlier in the stream, if you guys were listening, until Bill Belichick is no longer in charge of that organization, you can't rule out the New England Patriots. So I think that, I mean, it pains me. It pains me to say this, but I don't know if we move out of the basement this year, man. I don't know if we do. And like, I know, guys, I'm sorry. Like, I know, like, I feel like so defeated saying that. Like,
you can't. I mean, we were 2-14 last year. We didn't know who our quarterback is.
I'm trying to be unbiased. I'm trying to be realistic. I don't want to bullshit you guys,
After we know who our quarterback is, we'll answer this better.
Yeah. I mean, oof.
All right, we got a super chat from Big Reed Nick George. Appreciate it, man. We cannot give up on Sam yet. We never once built around the quarterback the right way. Maybe with Sanchez a little, but still. Yeah, man, this is the good take. If you really think about it, the Jets moving back in the draft and building around Sam, we could build I don't think people understand the capital that we can get, because it's not even like we're missing out on draft picks and we don't have a lot of capital as it is. We have 9 draft picks this year. We have 9 draft picks next year. That's 18 players that are going to be on this Jets team in the next 2 years that will be on rookie contracts. So let's hope that Joe Douglas hits, say, if he hits 10 of the 18, which is obviously above 50%, and I think he'll hit more than that. At the bare minimum, he needs to hit on 10 of those 18 picks in the next 2 years. But we'll see. I agree. We never built the quarterback the right way, but the big question mark is Sam damaged goods? Is Sam somebody that we failed, and we failed him so much that we cannot revive his career, that we need to start fresh? I mean, that's the argument. I think Sam Darnold has a mindset of he wants to be a Jet. He wants to prove that he's the guy, because he definitely knows that he disappointed the city of New York, especially Jets fans, obviously. So it's going to be a topic of discussion leading all the way until the draft. So we will see what happens. We know Jack's take on this little discussion already. So we're going to move on to the next super chat from Joe. I agree with Jack. Trade down, build team. Draft a quarterback next year. There will always be a couple QBs that show up every year. Case in point, Wilson. Thoughts? So this is towards you, Jack. What do you got to say? I appreciate the donation, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I still have this fantasy in my head of Sam panning out for the New York Jets quarterback. So, I mean, that being said, I don't think it's like, the end of the world, worst case scenario to have to just reevaluate quarterback next year. I know that, the Jets have been that organization that has, been lacking a franchise quarterback for, pretty much all of my life. I don't know if you want to call Chad Pennington like a true franchise quarterback, but that was the closest thing I can remember so far. I mean, I still think that Sam Darnold has a lot of untapped potential. I mean, the guy is 6 months younger than Joe Burrow. I mean, still the same age as guys, coming out of college. So it's, I think that we certainly have failed Sam Darnold, but I do not think it is too late to build around Sam properly. So drafting a QB next year, not the end of the world, but I have faith that we trade this pick down. Sam Darnold has a good year, and we feel confident. I mean, I know everybody's about to come at me, but not everybody's gonna
I
know, but like, I'm just saying, I wouldn't be on here if I didn't have thick skin. So come at me, like, it's all good.
It's all right. You got a lot of people that agree with you, like John. We got John
come
saying
back at you in the chat as well.
I need more Jet intellect such as you two to do a cost analysis on trading down. Grabbing Pitts and having 5 to 6 first rounders and 4 to 5 second round picks in the next 3 years is too good to pass up. Hashtag stick with Sam. You see, Jack, you're not alone. Stop thinking you're alone.
I mean, well, that's my boy John, though. So it's like me and John versus the world.
And this was the super chat that John sent in that I did not see. So, John,
Yes.
I'm sorry I didn't see it before. I'm glad that I got to see it this time. So, yeah, man, John, this is having 5 to 6 first round picks in the next 3 years, also with 4 to 5 second round picks. And that also gives us so much ammunition to even trade for a guy. Like, say somebody becomes disgruntled. There's always a disgruntled star that wants out. We'll have so much ammunition to get that guy, and we can like sacrifice a lot of draft capital and still have a lot of draft capital of our own. So, you know, that's the big argument. Does Joe Douglas want to really build this thing to the draft by trading down and getting the biggest load of draft capital in the history of the NFL and just like literally stocking up with 3 firsts next year and then keep going and going and going and hit on the draft picks? Like, that's possible, but we will see.
Like the Jets just always want a new quarterback. Like I just don't understand. You know, his rookie year, he had a good rookie year. His second year, he improved in every statistical category that a quarterback can improve in. And then his third year, he regressed with the worst supporting cast around him I've ever seen in the National Football League. I mean, you think about who was at receiver, who was at O-line, the absolute scrubs we had on the other side of the ball. I mean, I just don't know how you write off a guy this young after one bad year. I mean, now we have, new life in the building. We're all super positive about who our coach is. For the most part, we're all positive about the free agents that we've brought in. I just feel like, the haul you can get for that pick combined with the potential that Sam Darnold still has after just one bad year. I just don't see how Joe Douglas isn't going to do that. So I would just be prepared, guys. I would be prepared.
Yeah, my mind's open for
ready.
every single situation there is, just so I don't get upset. I'm open with Sam. I'm open with Wilson. I'm open with Fields. But we'll see what happens. JBJB1200 says, great content. Love the channel. Stick with Sam. Appreciate the donation, man. Really means a lot to me. Appreciate the love as well. And we got another Stick with Sam supporter. Cherry Pie donates $5. Thank you so much. I appreciate the donation as always, Cherry Pie. Doesn't this free agency seem like Sam is gone, like signing young guys? Joe wants his own guys not improving the offensive line and not getting multiple receivers. So, yeah, I understand this approach, this point of view, rather, Cherry Pie. Joe Douglas is trying to, it seems in free agency, have the 1-year deals. He's not signing anybody. The only people he signed to really 3-year deals are 3 players. Corey Davis, Carl Lawson, and Justin Hardy. Everybody else are 1-year deals, and the only 2-year deal is Sheldon Rankins. So you could argue that the free agency approach is setting up for a rookie quarterback. And another big conversation about the draft a quarterback or stick with Sam that people need to realize that we haven't even discussed once on the stream is the financial thing. If we keep Sam Darnold, we're going to have to stretch his 5th-year option, which will be $19 million. If we want to draft a quarterback, we get a brand new rookie quarterback, a brand new rookie deal, which is very cheap. So, Cherry Pie, I definitely see where you're coming from with this take. And then we got Mr. D with the $5 donation. Thank you guys so much. You guys going to do some more Madden content soon? Please and thank you. Maybe you and Jack can alternate. Yeah, man. For those of you guys that were watching this channel during the season, Jack and I came out with a video every single week of whoever the Jets were versing, and we'd verse each other in Madden. And I was the Jets, and Jack was the person opposing. So if you guys want to see more Madden content on Jets Media, maybe Jack and I can do a Jets rebuild. We can, be the GM and draft and go over free agency ourselves and see what happens. We can verse each other. We can go live and let us know, because Jack and I love Madden. We have not played Madden in a long time, but we'll definitely be down to do it. So if you guys are down to see some Madden content, let us know. Let us know. So yeah, any other questions in the chat, feel free to do so. Appreciate all the love here. Guys, if you guys are new to Jets Media and you guys are not subscribed, make sure you do so. I appreciate everybody coming in, and also make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you guys did not already. Appreciate everybody tuning in as always. All of you guys are great people. Jets fans, we're all in this together. And let me just say something real quick before we get into anything else. Jets
man.
fans,
You're just preaching tonight. So please.
we are all going to disagree. We're all going to agree as well. But at the end of the day, I think we can all agree on one thing. Let's win a damn Super Bowl. So any way we get there, we all at the end of the day want to win. Let's win. We don't know how it's going to happen, but right? I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I'm just keeping that out there. We're all in this together. Same goal.
Everybody write I in the chat if it's a guarantee that you're going to cry your eyes out like a little girl when the Jets win the Super Bowl, cuz I'll be right there.
When the Jets win the Super Bowl.
I'll be right there with you, man. I picture it, man. I'll be like in my living room. I'll just run outside and just in the middle of the street and just scream at the top of my lungs. And for the next year, I'll just be indestructible. Oh my God. That would just be the greatest thing to ever happen in the history of life, man. No one deserves it more than us. No one deserves it more than us, man. We have like the second highest attendance in the National Football League behind America's team, the Dallas Cowboys.
We got a lot of people that will be crying their eyes out, including myself. Yo, the Jets media live stream when we're in the Super Bowl. Whoo-wee.
Oh my God.
I'm going to be, leading up to that.
How do you even
division round,
go to bed the night before? I'm going to wake up with just a pit in my stomach.
I do that on opening day. I can't even imagine what Super Bowl would be like,
Oh man. And I love how we're saying it like it's definitely going to happen.
Because we're manifesting that.
Just going to say that, dude.
Did we all agree on firing Gase? I think that was the one decision that 100% of Jets fans were on board for. There's a lot of decisions that the Jets have made that Jets fans can agree and disagree on, but I think this is something we can all collectively agree. This needed to happen, unless you're a troll saying no, keep Gase.
Who was here? I know some of you guys in the chat must have been here. Who was here on that legendary night when we fired Gase, where we had every Jets YouTuber you could think of in here? It was fantastic. Legendary night.
That was a legendary, right? Yeah, man. This Jet season is coming, guys. This offseason is finally underway. The draft is too far away, though, low key. I want that draft to happen very now. We'll be live during the entire draft. So here on Jets Media, we'll have a draft party for the first round. We'll have a draft party for the second and third round. And then those guys that don't know the schedule of the draft, it's 3 days in a row. Thursday night is the first round. Friday night is the second and third round. And then Saturday during the day is rounds 4 through 7. So I will be live with Jack and probably Ali throughout the entire draft process. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. That's going to be a very fun time because this Jets draft we're going to have 9 picks plus more because we're trading down. Not saying, even if we don't trade down from 2, that's not what I'm saying. We're going to trade down in later in the draft. We can trade that 34th pick down. We can trade one of our third overall picks down. Joe Douglas made 2 trades in his first draft. Expect 2 or 3 more trades.
The whole draft is going to be amazing, and we'll be live on Jets Media throughout the entire process for you guys. But marking your calendars now, man. I think April 29th is the first night of the draft. Make sure you guys come hang out with us in the live stream, man, because it is going to be a crazy night. I've been looking forward to that night since halfway through the season when I realized that, okay, this season is just a complete embarrassment, an embarrassed failure and just a wash. So it's going to be fantastic, man. Me and Richie are going to be getting rowdy. We're going to be answering all you guys' questions. We'll do a couple mock drafts, an hour or 2 beforehand. It's going to be a great night, man. I'm so hyped for the draft. I'm the most hyped for the draft I've ever been in my life.
I'm going to be freaking out because
oh my God.
We got a question. When we had Jamal, would you have traded him for a top 10 left tackle straight up? Yes, but no, because that means we would not have Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, I don't know about a top 10 left tackle because Jamal, arguably the best at his position in the entire league at the time he was traded. So I don't know about a top 10 left tackle.
Yeah, what we got from that.
Maybe a top 2 left tackle. I think that's more realistic, honestly.
And the funny thing is about the Jamal Adams trade is we have not seen anything we got back yet. We saw Bradley McDougald, who was, we knew that was not a big part of the trade. That's needed to happen for the financial reasons and him to get off Seattle to free up a roster spot. but we have not seen what we got from Jamal yet. We got the 23rd overall pick this year, and we got their 3rd round pick this year. So we got 2 rookies coming in from the Jamal Adams trade, and then we got a 3rd rookie in the 1st round next year. So it's going to be in total 3 years of the future from Joe Douglas for the Jamal Adams trade. Technically 2, because we gave up a 4th round pick to get 2 firsts and a 3rd. But
I mean, I'll say this, guys. The Seattle Seahawks have 3, count them, 1, 2, 3 picks in the draft this year. So I don't know, man. Jamal is going to be a free agent after this season. I don't know what's going to happen with his situation, but with the way he just forced himself out of New York, I no longer have any love for that guy. So I wish nothing but a frustrating career for him. And I mean, draft capital wise, look where we are compared to the Seahawks right now. I mean, they have 3 picks in a 7-round draft, and not one of them is in the 1st round. So
let's talk about some rumors real quick, because there's rumors circulating the NFL that the Jets are, and guys, this is rumors. This is not officially, like, I don't know if this is like real or not. So don't think that this is going to happen. Tevin Coleman is rumored to be very interested in coming to the Jets, or vice versa. Jets are interested in getting him. We have yet to sign a running back. Would you be down to bring in Tevin Coleman?
I would. I know it would be a cheap deal for sure. So it would make sense. I'm curious to know where Joe Douglas's head is at with the running back position right now. I was really banking on Philip Lindsay. I wanted him to come to the Jets so bad. I think that would have been so perfect. Like, so perfect. But, Coleman is, we know he's got speed. He's never been an elite running back, but he's solid. I feel like he could just, fill that running back by committee thing that we're going to be rocking with this LaFleur offense. So,
yeah, I mean,
I think it makes sense, but I wouldn't be super, super hyped about it. I think that I like the idea of taking somebody later in the draft more than giving Coleman a few $1 million for a year.
Yeah, and I think that's why Joe Douglas has not signed a running back yet, is because he wants to be the youngest possible. He wants to be someone that's not washed up, someone that's not past their prime. And Tevin Coleman, the one reason why I think the Jets are linked to him is because he's a 49er, former 49er, and he's somebody that is comfortable with the system. Maybe he's a veteran that can come in, but I don't really think, I think Joe Douglas does not want to. That's why he was not in on Philip Lindsay. I personally think Philip Lindsay's past his prime. I don't think he's ever going to break 1,000 yards again. And all the guys, the running back position is so unique because you hit your prime on your rookie contract. There's no other position that's like that. And that's why you need to build the running back position through the draft, because that's when they're good. That's when their value is high. So I think the Jets are going to draft a running back in round 3, or even, you never know, round 2 if Etienne falls, but we'll see about that. I don't think he will spend a premier pick on it. Mr. D, I want the Jets to kick ass so bad that Jamal Adams wishes he's stuck with the Jets. Man, Mr. D.
Shout out to awesome. Mr. D, man. That's a powerful statement right there. I love that. That's what we all want, man. Thank you, Mr. D.
Yeah, appreciate the donation, Mr. D. It means a lot, and I agree. But back to the running back position, because we have not touched on that in free agency yet. I do expect. Listen, I really am one of those guys that see a lot of upside on LaMichael Pirine, and it's really unfortunate that he had injuries last year, and it's also really unfortunate that Frank Gore had to take snaps away from him. I think Pirine, he is a running back that is good at everything. He's not great at one thing. He's not super elite at one category, but he's good at everything. He has good vision. He has good speed. He has good power. He has good balance. He has good feet. He's average all around. And that type of running back is something that could develop into something even great. Because if you have every single aspect of your game that's somewhat, development that could develop into something, then we'll see. I think that LaMichael Pirine's potential is still skyrocketing high, as well as Ty Johnson. I think those two running backs paired up with a rookie and with Josh Adams, you know, we want to be young. We want to be really speedy oriented, and we'll see what they will do when it comes to the Jets running back position.
So many options this offseason, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just I wish that I could just be a fly on the wall in Joe Douglas's office for even just an hour. If I was only given an hour, just to get a grip on what's going on inside his mind, because I mean, with the position we're in as an organization, with all this capital, all these picks, oh man, there's just so many opportunities. I wouldn't even be upset if we bring in a running back even past round 3, in round 4 or 5 even, because you never know. I mean, like you said, Rich, I mean, you put it perfectly. The running back is a very unique position because these guys are in their prime when they're still on their rookie deals, you know? So I think building that position through the draft is the smartest way to go about it. And you never know, man. I mean, I feel like the Jets are due for a good running back. I mean, it's been a long time. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell didn't pan out. The Jets are due for a good running back. So I don't know where he's going to come from, but I'm excited to see how Joe Douglas handles that position, because it's one of the few positions that we need some help in that haven't been touched throughout the free agency process so far. So I'm just very curious.
For sure, I agree. Mr. D with another $5 donation. Thank you so much, bro. You guys ever have live call-ins? Yes, we do. We don't do it every single stream, but we had a stream last week where we had a bunch of you guys tune in and ask us questions. We're actually going to be doing that this week. We're not going to be doing it in tonight's stream, but upcoming this week, I do not know what day or what time yet, but expect us to go live and let you guys come in and voice your opinions on the Jets. And we'll get so many of you guys, like, you know, talking to us, ask us any questions, because when we did that last week, it was awesome. We got to hear what you guys have to say, because Jack and I, we're Jets fans. We're not anything special. We're just dudes that make content on the Jets. Everybody in the chat are probably just, you know, probably even more intelligent with the Jets than us, you know? We're nothing special. We want to hear what you guys have to say, because Jets Nation is extremely intelligent. So it's not going to be, Matt asks if it's going to be a phone number. So what we're going to do is we're going to send the link to this stream, and you guys can join in and be on camera. You know what I mean? If you guys are also interested, there is a membership program that I have. There's a rookie, veteran, and Namath membership, and you get different perks. The Namath membership, you get to be on a live stream with us every week, and you also get a private Zoom session with us, and you guys can ask us any questions about anything, and you get a lot of other perks. So if you're interested to see the membership program, click on the join icon, but that's only if you are interested, because that does give you some interesting stuff. Mike says, Fournette still explosive at 3 down back, 2-year, $8 million. You know, Fournette is an interesting person, 2-year, $8 million. I just don't think that Joe Douglas will want to get that type of player in, because he's another guy that's past his prime. Like, he wants to get a Leonard Fournette in the draft. Leonard Fournette was a top 5 pick. He's not going to draft someone that high at the running back position, but Douglas wants to find a gem in the draft at the running back spot and let him be on his rookie deal and flourish. And I think that that's what he wants to do. This offense also is one of those running back by committee type of offenses. We don't need a one running back that's going to get 25, 30 carries a game. It's one of those that, Michael Pirine will get some, Ty Johnson will get some, and then the rookie that we draft will get some. And then maybe if we eventually do sign a free agent, it will be split. So that's what I really think. Yeah. So we're going to be live this week. Also, I think the AFC East Roundtable is coming back. So I think it'll be on Dan Mitchell's channel on Wednesday night if we're still going to do it. So any AFC East fans tuning in, make sure you stay tuned for that. And anybody that don't know what it is, the AFC East Roundtable is something that we did every single week throughout the NFL season. Every single Wednesday night, it was myself and 3 other YouTubers that represented the Bills, Dolphins, and Patriots, and we debated about the AFC East. So that might be coming back Wednesday night. I'll keep you guys up to date on the details of that. Marty says, if Najee Harris is available at 34, we should take. Yeah, man, that guy is something special. I don't think he'll get past the first round, but you never know. Not every team wants to draft a running back in the first, but Najee Harris is something special. I remember watching him 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, man, that guy needs to be on the Jets. And then he stayed in college, and I was like, he's going to be in next year's draft. And here we are. So I would love for him to be on the Jets, but I just don't know if the Jets will want to take that position because we have so much holes on the interior offensive line and the cornerback. And I think that we're going to draft heavy interior offensive line and heavy cornerback in the draft.
I want to point out that beautiful use of that ice pick emoji. That's a good one, man. Never would have thought to pull that out. Available at pick 34. Love it.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that. I'm dumb.
No, I wasn't like calling you out. I just
I know. I just like
I thought that was good.
I picked
that was good.
But yeah, man,
that would be interesting.
This live stream was awesome. We had earlier in the live stream we got Greenbean, Matt O'Leary, Ali in there, and now it's just Jack and I ending it off. If you guys are interested in my brand new YouTube video, I posted a video today on my recap of free agency. I broke down each player, all 9 of them, and I gave you guys the recap of their contracts, and I even edited in some highlights of each player. So if you guys are interested, check that out after we finish this stream. For those guys asking where the join button is for my membership program, that is underneath. It should be underneath the like button. You should see a little join, and then you'll see. And also, if you go to click the super chat icon, show your support for Jets Media, you'll see the join button underneath the super chat. So those are the ways to become a member. You get exclusive emojis. I'll spam the emojis in the chat right now, and I'm going to update these emojis throughout the entire offseason and season as well. Right now, I got these 4 guys: Mekhi Becton, Quentin Williams, Joe Douglas, and Robert Saleh, exclusive emojis that only my memberships get access to. So we're going to end the stream here. We appreciate all you guys tuning in all throughout the stream. We're going to be live throughout the week, so stay tuned. If you guys did not smash that thumbs up button, please make sure you do so on your way out. I would greatly appreciate that. We got a couple more. We got one more super chat to get to before we finish it off. Mr. D with another one. Mr. D, you are an amazing human being. I appreciate you, man. I just can't wait to watch Jet football with a coach that has some more sense, a coach that has more sense than to run straight up the middle and every second down. Woo. Yeah,
preach,
I know.
Man. Preach.
Those of you guys that were watching my live streams during the games last season with
predicting
Jack,
every play.
I was predicting every play. Out route, 5 right out route. Yep. Up the middle. Yep. Adam Gase. If I could predict it, you don't think that NFL defenses could predict it? All right, we're not getting into Adam Gase. But I agree, Mr. D. I cannot wait to watch competent coaching, as we hope, from Robert Saleh. His energy, his big bald head, him literally decking Quentin Williams to the ground after he sacks somebody, and then literally punching Mekhi Becton after pancaking somebody. Robert Saleh is going to be in like casts after the season because he's going to be so hyped up on how good his players are. It's going to be energy all throughout it. Robbie, appreciate it. Great stream, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you, Robbie. Appreciate that. We got another one. Okay, great stream, guys. Appreciate it. Next time. Love the glasses, Rich. Yeah, man, these glasses I needed to protect my eyes. They're blue light glasses. You guys can see the ring light right there, right? The reflection. I'm going blind for you guys. When I was live all week, my eyes started like burning. I'm like, yo, I might need to wear my glasses to protect my eyes during the streams because I might like be blind. Lord Supreme, appreciate it. Enjoy your merch, the exclusive. I think you got the Corrupted Closet one, the bleach tie-dye. Enjoy the merch. If you have an Instagram or a Twitter, Lord Supreme, please take a picture of your merch as my camera just died. Don't worry, guys. I'm still here. Hold on. All right, there I am on the bad camera. Lord Supreme, if you can please, if you have an Instagram or a Twitter, take a picture of your merch, tag me in it, and I'll repost it on my Instagram. And if you want, I can retweet you on Twitter as well. So appreciate you buying merch. Anybody interested in Jets Media merch, that is down below in the description, jetsmedia.shop. So that's it for today's stream. Jack, you have anything to say before we end the stream?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, you guys really are the best. Whether us Jets fans agree or disagree, we're all in this together. And the one thing that binds us all together is how passionate we are about this team. And we all just want to see this team do well and succeed and win games and eventually win a Super Bowl. So, we're not going to agree on everything, but that's fine. And I just love you guys so much, and I appreciate the support. And please, if you have a sec, consider following me on Instagram, Jack McGalley Music. You can see it right here on my new sweatshirt that I got today as a gift, actually, for writing somebody a song for their anniversary, and they gave me this little gift. So that was very nice of them. And if you guys could help support me, that would be fantastic. I love you guys so much, and if you guys really want to, join the live streams with us, like let us know, because I would love to get like a second night and then just have it scheduled where we do we do our thing here on Monday night, and then another night of the week we do our thing, and then have you guys come on as well. I would love that. So if you guys really want to get on the stream, let us know, because I love going live and talking with you guys. It's some of my favorite stuff to do. So yeah, I mean, I just love you guys. I love the Jets so freaking much that it hurts. And yeah, thank you, Rich, as always, and it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. How about that Knicks game last night, though?
Oh my God, dude, that was
Before we end it.
That was tough, and that got me emotional, because like I was with Richie last night in his living room, and we were drinking some wine, and I was feeling a little nice in the head, and just really that was just a bummer, man. I was not my psyche was not ready for a 1-point overtime loss after playing like such a fantastic defensive game.
Shout out to the Knicks fans in the chat.
It's a little Knicks for you guys before the stream ends.
I needed to get off my chest because I almost died last night. I literally almost I never felt that much anxiety in a game in so long. And I just want to bring up the Knicks, because let's hope the Jets are like the Knicks this year, because no one expected the Knicks to be good this year, and they're playing competitive basketball. Nobody's going to expect the Jets to be good this year. Let's hope the Jets can play some competitive football. I know that you guys, not everybody in here are Knicks fans. There's some Brooklyn Nets fans. That's totally okay. All love to you guys. But seriously, let's get some competitive football from our Jets.
Please, man. Please. All
right, guys. That does it for this one. Again, hit that like button if you guys are not already, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Appreciate all the support. All the non-Jets fans, Dolphins fans, Bills, Patriots, Chiefs, 49ers, whatever fan you support. Appreciate that. That does it for this episode of Monday Night Sports Talk. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Thank you guys so much.